last week I had two different guys that I talked to, young guys that were moving back in with their family, and they both wanted a house for different reasons. One guy was a exterminator, and he was out, and young guy, and not engaged or anything, and not in a relationship, but he's moving back home just because prices are what they are. But he's out in the world, and he'd like to have his own home. Good morning, Jennifer. Uh, but he has no idea what to do. None. I mean, and no plan. And he didn't know that when I told him that buying a house was really like starting a savings plan. You could see the light bulb light up, and it was like unbelievable because it was just and the other guy too, and I'll get to him in a minute or two. But it's amazing what people don't know.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, sometimes as realtors we think that somebody knows something, but the truth is that we think that because we deal with it every day.
Yeah.
Most of these people don't. And I don't know, what you think about that, but so he's going to move back home. He just finished paying off his car, by the way,
Awesome.
which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And I suggested to him that he keep making that car payment to himself,
Oh, okay.
and to put it in the bank and just keep making that car payment, and then when time comes, he'll have money for something, whether it's to buy another car and pay cash and not have to have any finance charges, or to have a down payment, but he's used to making that payment. And now he's moving back home and going to have, even more money because, mom and dad's not charging him rent from what I understand. But, so I suggested that he talk to mom and dad and have a plan. Have a 2 or 3 year plan that says, okay, here's what I'm going to do, and work with mom and dad and be accountable, to them. Mom and dad is letting them stay there, and I think that as a parent, I think that would be fine as long as there was a plan in place. Just saying I'm going to come home and live forever doesn't sound like a good a good scenario. but with a plan, that's a little different.
Absolutely.
And so so I talked to another guy who was actually doing solar work,
Okay.
and he was he had a girlfriend that they're going to have a new addition to their family,
No.
and they're moving back in with mom and dad.
Okay.
And he as well did not, he didn't think about, having a plan. It's like, yeah, sure, I'd like to have a house with my future wife, but, there's like, no thought on how they're going to get there. And so, it's one of those things that, he's making money, he's making decent money, but he has no thought on how to put it aside, and didn't know, by the way, that there are plans out there now, and we have our in-house lender, that can help with people understanding things, and I explained that to them, the interest rate is whatever. I also told them the story, Jason told us, our broker told us, there was a time, because people are talking about interest rates, right?
Every day.
Every day, but there was a time when Jason told us he bought a house, and in fairness, it was before, and he paid $176,000 for it, but he paid 14% interest, which is double of what we're doing right now. But he lived in that house for a while and sold it for $450,000 later. So again, buying a house is basically a savings plan, and and that's the thing. People don't think about it that way sometimes. It's really a savings plan. I say there's never a bad time to buy a house.
I agree, yeah.
If you buy a house now and you pay whatever interest rate you pay, if it goes up, you're going to be glad you got that rate. And if it goes down, you just refinance it.
Yep.
So it's really, whose mortgage do you want to pay? Do you want to pay yours, or do you want? Yeah, there you go. Or do you want to pay somebody else's? Because you're going to pay somebody's mortgage.
Absolutely.
As long as you're living somewhere, unless it's with mom and dad, and then maybe you should help pay theirs. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting rent from your kids is would be a novel idea for me. Because I don't think I've ever got that. I've had some free to do it, but then they didn't follow through. But that's a different issue.
That's another story.
It is. It is. So, what are your thoughts today? I'm talking and you're listening, and that's great. But you have thoughts as well.
Dan, I think it's great that you put them on their own plan of action. There's no better way for you to have put that for them, that it really is starting at step one with that savings plan. I agree with you there. Yes. Once they can allocate that savings and talk to an in-house lender or their lender, then they can go a step further and tailor that plan of action to their financial budget, whether that's a monthly budget they're working around or telling them exactly the amount that they need to save while staying at their parents' house. And so I think for the family that's just starting their family and having a new addition, and that one gentleman that's alone, going back home and starting a savings is definitely a good starting point.
I agree. And we talk about budget, and I don't know about you, but keeping track of your finances, I think, is important. In fact, like, here's my bank stuff I went through this morning, because I go through it every morning. And like yesterday, I made a call on a 50-cent charge. The bank charged me 50 cents for something. I didn't know what it was for. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know if people know this, but sometimes when you see a $1 charge on your account, sometimes that's a hacker trying to see if they can access your account. Because if $1 goes through, then they can come back and do bigger deals. And as far as a budget, I practice what I preach. I have a budget. I go through it periodically. And so it's not just, and I'm 74 and it's still a savings plan, But anyway, so what's on, let's see, Amber Katie joined. So I don't see, I'm not good enough at this yet to see questions or anything. But I can see that, some folks have joined us, and that's awesome. And I hope that what we're saying has some benefit to somebody, There's also, I heard last week, I don't know, did I lose you? I think, did you go away, Monica? I can't. I'm sorry.
I'm like, I'm not talking to you on the phone.
Anyway.
Can you tell her, you have some viewers on there, can you tell them I'm having some technical issues?
Yeah, Monica's having technical issues. Yeah, and I'm just not smart enough to know if I'm having them or not, so.
No, you're
See that,
oh look, I'm not on, but I'm not joined. Can you tell them I'm having
let's see, how do we, let's see here. No, you're moving. It doesn't say mom. It says moving with mom. But so, well, in any case, I'm glad you're on. I don't know that I'm trying to click on you, and it's not letting me do what it did before. So I don't know. And we're coming up on 12 minutes, 15 minutes. I won't stay on here much longer. But I found it interesting the other day when we were in our meeting about the 2/1 plan, where a first-time buyer would basically, if I remember this right, but if I don't, it's still a program that's out there that they can find out about. If I remember this right, that the first year, someone would pay 2% less than they would 2 years going forward. So they would get a reduction in their payment. And the next year it would be a 1%. And then the third year they would actually just go into their full mortgage. And that would be to be able to help somebody get started, you know, like a first-time home buyer, and hopefully within 2 years, you know, or 3 years, your income is going to go up, or your credit's going to go down. Something's going to change to benefit you. And so I thought that was something. And on top of that, there's also a lot of first-time buyer programs out there that are available. It's probably not as available as it was, you know, last year. I remember last year I had an occasion where somebody got a loan for her earnest money, got a loan for her down payment, and got a loan for the house. And so she essentially got 3 loans, but she got in the house. And
That's amazing.
it is. So
Did everything that was necessary to really make it to that finish line.
So a lot of times, you know, if there's a will, there's a way. You know. So in any case, I hope that you know what we've said today has some effect and maybe benefits somebody. And so with that, I think I'll try to go ahead and log off. And Monica, I'll join you on our daily call because it's still up on my other screen. So see you soon. Good morning, everyone. Have a great day.